But he's not playing a newcomer now, he's playing the oldest player on the circuit, 58-year-old Jimmy White, who gets us underway. Once again, best of 4 frames. So the possible scores are 3-0, 3-1 or a 2-2 draw. It's 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw. Looking forward to seeing how this one pans out alongside group winner from yesterday. Taking it easy today in the commentary box, Dominic Dale.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I'm looking forward to this match. Two of the game's most knowledgeable players. Jimmy White, been a professional over 4 decades. Shaun Murphy, former world champion, of course, and ever present in the world's top 16. What's the first red of this particular match? I'm sure Martin O'Donnell will be hoping for a 2-all draw probably, or a Jimmy White victory maybe, to help his chances of qualification. Only the player that finishes top of the group, of course, progresses to stage 2 of the Championship League. Shaun doesn't turn many shots down.
Shaun Murphy 1.
But as Dave says, he is carrying a bit of an injury, so how hard it is for Shaun to concentrate fully on his task in hand is difficult to say. Not easy when you're having to play through a pain barrier.
Well, Jimmy White did win a frame against Martin O'Donnell, but ultimately, of course, comes into this match without any points on the board yet. His last match will be against Peter Devlin, who has struggled a little on his main tour debut. But this is Jimmy White's 41st season as a professional. Oh,
Jimmy
got very
White
close to the green, but it's not dropped. Don't think anyone thinks these pockets are generous on this table.
No, that's right, and whenever the cushions play a little squarely as they are here, that means the pockets are a little bit tighter, because the balls don't skid in from the pocket jaws the way they normally would. Shaun Murphy, one of the game's most attacking players, as Jimmy White was certainly in his earlier days, but 58 years old now, Jimmy White, a little more perspicacious, it has to be said. Dropped on this red next to the black here, Shaun Murphy, which would be handy for him.
4.
Would mean the black's then available into both of its corner pockets.
Five.
Well, look where the white's finished. I mean, how quick is this table?
I did exactly that, Dave, yesterday in one of my matches. I played the red exactly how I wanted to play it, and the keyboard kept rolling on, and I was on nothing, just as Shaun is here.
Shaun Murphy 5.
They played 6 times before. It's 5-1 to Murphy. White's only win over him came at the Players' Championship 2004. That's actually the last ranking event Jimmy White won in Glasgow. This, of course, is a ranking event, and that's already an error. Let's give Murphy another opportunity.
One.
I took the opportunity about an hour or so ago just to walk out into the arena, because I'd had heard that it's significantly cooler in there today, and it most certainly is. When I played myself yesterday, it was absolutely roasting hot in the arena. It's
8.
much cooler in there today, much more welcoming, I'm sure, for the players.
9.
From Shaun Murphy's point of view, this should be a rather easy break to make. All the reds are developed already, doesn't have to do anything really except control the cue ball, doesn't have to play any
15.
cannons that could go astray. And already 21 points to the good, so he'd be disappointed not to win this first frame from here.
16.
Yeah, even if he is carrying a slight injury, it's only 1 day snooker, isn't it? It's not, you know, a 7-day tournament. Just here for today. If he can get through it, hopefully get a bit of treatment before next week at the European Masters, and then come back for the next phase of this in October.
23.
It's all boiling up towards, it would seem, a decisive match with Martin O'Donnell. That'll be the last match later this afternoon.
24.
And Murphy holding the slight edge in as much as he won 3-0 in his first match. O'Donnell won 3-1, then 3-0, so he has lost a frame if it came to the frame difference. If Murphy could win this one 3-0, he'd be in the driving seat. But if it came down to highest breaks at the end of the day, O'Donnell's already had a 1-8.
$32. $39.
Well, White will be disappointed to have left the chance, the red over the left corner.
40. $47.
His highest break in his first match was only 41, so he's already bettered that here.
48. $54. 55.
So frame well and truly won already, and he can now concentrate on trying to make a high break himself.
$61.
But he can't beat the 1-8.
Yes, it's been a rather
62.
easy break for Shaun Murphy to make. Hasn't had to do much with the cue ball, but if he had to go into a pack of reds and develop things, that's when players have found it difficult to score and make decent breaks. In some of their previous matches.
69.
But this has been a nice easy start for Shaun Murphy.
70. $76. 77.
He is one of the game's heavy scorers, Shaun Murphy. 39 centuries last season. He's on 8th place on the all-time list,
84.
524 for his career.
86.
524 centuries, that's incredible, isn't it? That's about half of what Ronnie O'Sullivan's made, though, in his career.
89.
And if Shaun is to increase his tally of career centuries, he will need the difficult blue.
93.
Oh, well done.
98.
Terrific.
$104.
What a great break. Jimmy White left the chance. And Shaun Murphy has
111 in
taken
the frame.
full
Shaun.
advantage with a clearance of 111. A very classy contribution from the 2005 world champion. So 4 frames played, 4 frames won for Shaun Murphy. He leads Jimmy White by 1 frame to 0. Now the match on table 2 is between the 2 players who were beaten in their respective opening matches, Ben Wollaston and Gao Yang of China, and they're still in the first frame there. Wollaston lost 3-0 to Si Jiahui of China, and Gao Yang lost 3-1 to Matt Selt, who's top of the table on 6 points. Selt plays Wollaston in the next match. So clearly Ben would have to win the match he's playing now, then beat Selt to stand any chance of topping the group. Now you can watch the streaming on table 2 on Matchroom Live. Well, Murphy's had a couple of hours off since his first match and was looking good there. There weren't too many signs of the injury from earlier on either. Maybe he's just rested up a little bit.
Second frame. Shaun Murphy to break.
So the 111 clearance has given Shaun Murphy the opening frame. If he wins the match, then it's a straight shootout between him and Martin O'Donnell. But as I say, if he can win 3-0, then it means that a 2-2 draw would send Murphy through as group winner, because O'Donnell has lost a frame to Jimmy White. So if Murphy wins 3-0, he is the favourite going into that match for that reason.
Oh dear. Well, Jimmy played a safety in the last frame and knocked a red over the left corner. He's knocked one over the right corner this time, but fortunately, the green, I believe, is covering it. There's a possibility that Shaun could take the long red on that's nearest the blue, try and pot it into the right-hand corner pocket, maybe in off the red that's near it.
One.
Too close to the green to attempt it into the left centre.
Shaun Murphy 1.
Actually push that.
You. Oh, thank you, Shaun. Foul. Jimmy White 4. 3 ball.
Wow, extraordinary thing. Shaun didn't actually make contact with the
Brown
green,
ball.
and I dare say that's because the cue ball could have just caught the slate line there. There's a join in the slate about an inch above the baulk line, and sometimes the cue can deviate rather sharply from it.
White attempting the brown as a free ball. Jamie Burnett's birthday today. Jamie's 45. Of course, he made the only break in professional snooker over 147, a 148. In UK qualifiers 2004, that was, of course, starting with a free ball.
Yeah, I don't think that break was particularly welcomed by the sports governing body. I don't think they gave him a lot for it, did they?
Well, they gave him nothing for it, actually. There was no pre-TV high break prize, no special prize. Just a round of applause. He was invited, I think, to York. I said this the other day, actually. He was invited to York to, you know, be given a round of applause. But as he didn't qualify, it wasn't really of any interest to him. Standard fare rail ticket. All expenses paid. Meanwhile, another chance for Murphy. Loves knocking these in.
1.
Just fancied him for it. Yeah, thankfully snooker's in better
8.
hands than it once was. There's been so many opportunities in the past missed for good publicity and various marketing exercises. Meanwhile,
Shaun Murphy, 8.
that's a very surprising miss from Murphy, considering the first red he knocked in. That's got to give Jimmy White a bit of hope, because having sat out the century, he must have feared another frame gone away from him there. Oh dear.
Yes, he had to punish that rudimentary miss from Shaun Murphy, really, just to put some pressure on Shaun and make him realise that any mistakes that he made would be rather costly, but wasn't the case there. Well, chance for Jimmy here. Straightest red to the far right corner. It's the only red he could leave should he miss it.
One.
Would have loved that cue ball to run through another few inches, but he may be able to get into the pack of reds here. I don't think there are any loose ones at top. So round off 2 cushions. How's his luck? Well, hasn't had any.
6. Jimmy White, 6.
Surely Shaun isn't thinking of the red. It's just off the right hand edge of the pack here. He's had a look at the pot, but very risky. Surely this is the shot to play. Cue ball in behind the green on the bulk cushion. Well, Jimmy does have a shot to play here. Had that cue ball been tight to the bulk cushion, he'd have been in a bit more difficulty. But even so, just played a containing safety there, trying to get the cue ball in behind the brown.
I'm sure Martin O'Donnell, if he is watching this, will be just pulling a little bit for Jimmy White to certainly win at least one frame. A draw would certainly suit O'Donnell.
Yes, you certainly do keep an eye on each other's results in your group. I remember when I was about to play my first match yesterday, I'd already witnessed the defeat of Steve Maguire at the hands of Leo Fernandez by 3 frames to 1, so straight away I thought, well, I've got a chance here of doing well in this group. The group favourite Steve Maguire, having lost his first match, it sort of opened things up for us all, really. That's a great safety shot there from Shaun Murphy. It's put Jimmy White in a great deal of difficulty. As you can see, the cue ball's tight on that baulk cushion. And Jimmy White appears pretty much snookered here. Can he just avoid the brown and land on this red on the top cushion? Well, he could, and he's played it very well.
Well, one thing obviously Jimmy doesn't lack is experience. That's stated in the obvious. He's been a pro for 4 decades.
Foul. Jimmy White 4.
Turned pro before Shaun Murphy was born.
Yes, I think Jimmy was only around 17 years old when he turned professional, which is, or was, very unusual at that particular period of the game. More commonplace now.
Another terrific
1.
Shaun Murphy long red. Well, these are good signs from Murphy. First day of the season for him. Obviously helps having won 3-0, just getting that win on the board early on. Even so, another cracking red.
Yeah, once again, Dave, just look at the position of the red. Shaun Murphy doesn't have to do anything here to create an opportunity. The reds are there for him, just needs to control the cue ball well.
6.
Yeah, if he can stay close in, then it's a good chance to go 2-0 in front. It's when the cue ball's got to travel, he's got problems because it's such a fast table. And you see again there, the way that white has just travelled.
Blue ball.
Looks like he is on the blue though. Shaun Murphy, 8 in the world rankings. He won 2 ranking titles last season, China Championship and Welsh Open.
30.
Previous season had been a bit of a nightmare. He lost 8 first-round matches in ranking events, but came good as we expected him to. Too good a player to be off the ball for too long, so came good last season. Welsh Open, blew Karen Wilson away, 9-1 in the final. It was over in no time. But
Shaun Murphy,
he
30.
missed that one, so it was a good chance that he'll be, I think, disappointed to go back to his seat, just 8 points in front.
Jimmy White will be fully aware that he must take full advantage of that type of mistake from Shaun to put some pressure on him. Been around the game long enough
1.
to know he needs to start taking these chances.
Six. 7.
probably tried to cannon into the brown there as a guide to hold for the blue, but as you can see, he's finished on neither, so he's still okay. He's got yellow or green to carry on with. Problem is, they're a long way away from the reds, and although a lot of the reds are in open play, they're rather covering one another.
Yellow ball.
So he's got a lot of work to do with the cue ball here to get good position. It won't be easy.
Jimmy White, 7.
Very straight on this red, Shaun, but he's got terrific cue power.
1.
Wow, this is an excellent attempt to get onto the black. And if it pots into the yellow pocket, he'll be very happy with the position because he'll have nothing to do in terms of getting onto his next red. And I wouldn't expect him to miss this black.
So another good chance for Murphy to guarantee himself at least a point. Yeah,
9.
as I say, won the Welsh Open and was very proud, of course, to receive the trophy from Ray Reardon, in whose name the trophy is presented. And Ray was there in Cardiff to hand it over. Shaun is very much a student of the game, so that would have meant
16.
a lot to him.
Seventeen. 24. 25.
Yes, I had the pleasure of interviewing Ray Reardon in the studio. He's a very interesting man, Ray Reardon. There's nothing he doesn't know about snooker. And in his heyday, the game was very different because players had decided strengths and weaknesses. So
32.
a player's task in those days was to work out where opponent's strengths and weaknesses lay. And you could work out your opponent, but
30.
these days players don't really have any weaknesses by and large. Sometimes their shot selection can leave a little bit to be desired, but these days just get on with playing the game to the best of your ability and you don't have to work out your opponent quite so much.
Yeah, everything's changed. I mean, he was, I think, 35 when he turned professional. Shaun Murphy was 15. He actually got
40.
special dispensation because his birthday fell just after the start of the qualifiers that season. So
41.
things have changed, and Shaun Murphy here, part of the new generation, already 2-0 up bar in snookers, but Jimmy White's not going to get a chance to play for those snookers. He has had some
48.
chances in this match, but Murphy's been feeding off his errors.
49.
And if he can win 3-0, as I say, that does give him the slight advantage in the match against O'Donnell, because O'Donnell's lost a frame. And that would mean that a draw would see Murphy win the group. O'Donnell would have to beat him if this is 3-0. But it swings back again. If Jimmy White wins a frame and Murphy
56.
wins 3-1, then the high break from O'Donnell would mean that if it was a draw and Murphy didn't
58.
beat the 1-8, he'd go through. So it's boiling up towards that match. That'll be the last one on tonight. So after this match, it's Jimmy against Peter Devlin, and then what looks sure to be now the decider between Murphy and
61.
O'Donnell.
65. 70.
So a 70
Murphy, 70.
from Shaun Murphy
And
to
frame.
follow the 111 in frame 1. White's had a couple of chances, but Shaun Murphy has gone into the lead 2-0, so he's guaranteed at least 1 point from this match. On table 2, Gao Yang, who's a newcomer to the tour from China, leads Ben Wollaston 1-0. As Tatiana Wollaston here does a fine job out in the middle refereeing. Ben Wollaston struggling as a player on table 2. He lost 3-0 in the first match and he's 1-0 down in his second match. So just to reiterate, the match after this is Jimmy White, Peter Devlin, and then the big one, Shaun Murphy, Martin O'Donnell, is a group decider. And that's why this next frame is important. If Murphy wins it, just has that slight advantage, but if he loses it, then, well, he's not won the match, but even if he wins 3-1, they go into that match absolutely level on everything, him and O'Donnell, apart from the breaks. At the moment, O'Donnell has made a 128, Murphy 111.
Frame 3. Jimmy White to break.
So Murphy leads White 2-0, breaks of 111 and 70. We've got him there. Can Jimmy White make an inroad into the match here and take us to a 4th frame? Well, he's caught the blue, but it's okay. Could have gone worse, I guess.
I think Jimmy's at his wit's end here. As to his own performance, he hasn't done anything in this match really yet. He's had numerous opportunities, particularly in that last frame, but did nothing with them.
One.
Not surprised that Jimmy will be taking this yellow on, given the way he's performed so far this afternoon. Another great pot. And if he can land on that red that's just above the black, straight enough just to roll it in,
3.
and I think he's done just that. All of a sudden, from nothing, this is a great opportunity. Sure, that red that's above the black there will pot into this left corner. And he just wants to leave himself fractionally high on the black here to cannon into the red to the left of it.
4.
The red just wriggles in. Well, he wants to be on the red that's, well, 2 away from the black spot. Yeah, he wasn't straight. He was 2 straight on the black to play the cannon I suggested, but he's still okay. He can play that shot from the black
11.
next if he gets on it properly.
Twelve. $90. Jimmy White, 19.
Well, what on earth happened there? Jimmy was walking around the table, or so it seemed, as though he'd be playing the black very shortly, but the red hasn't gone in. Did it deviate slightly from its true course? What happened? I'd like to see that one again. But once again, that's another
1.
great opportunity that Jim has spurned.
8. 9. 16. 17. 24.
Once again, Shaun Murphy in amongst the balls with little to do, hasn't had to develop the pack of reds at all. They're all there for him.
25.
Sure, Martin O'Donnell will be bitterly disappointed, as Jimmy White is, with his performance this afternoon here, because if Jimmy did win that single frame, as Dave Hendon previously said, 2-all draw would be enough in that remaining match. Because of the 1-8 that Martin O'Donnell had previously
32.
made, that would be good enough for him to top the group at the end of play. But as things are looking,
33.
nothing short of victory will suffice for Martin O'Donnell in his remaining match with Shaun Murphy.
Yeah, that's the group decider, and Jimmy White's match with Peter Devlin, of course, is to
40.
avoid 4th place, where you get no prize money, so that's a meaningful one as well coming up after this one.
41.
Just a bit jawish, that red.
Yeah, it is a big match. Every match is important here because, of course, this is a ranking event now. So if you can gain 3rd place in the group and win £1,000, you also get 1,000 ranking points.
49. 56.
Just a question now of completing the job.
57.
It's been quite a quick kill. This match, about 35 minutes old.
$60.
Jimmy White has made errors. Shaun Murphy's been
61.
very solid in the balls. Needs another red after this black. Well, he's come unstuck in terms of his logo,
68.
but otherwise it's been impressive. He's had some nice breaks along the way, and he's put himself in pole position now to win this group. 2 frames is all he needs from the last match. Martin O'Donnell will have to beat him, otherwise Shaun Murphy will be the group winner. And bearing in mind he started the day limping into the venue, that will be a serious result.
$76.
76 to finish.
76 frame and a match.
Followed the breaks of 111 and 70, and in no time at all Shaun Murphy has beaten Jimmy White 3-0. That's his second 3-0 win of the day, and it means that a draw against Martin O'Donnell, and he will be our group winner. That's the last match on, but coming up next it's Jimmy White against Peter Devlin.